The morning sun shines on a lively city filled with tall skyscrapers. In a penthouse dining room, crystal glasses and shiny silverware are set on the table. Guy sits stiffly, dressed sharply, as his parents give him an ultimatum. He must settle down with his fiancée in the countryside or lose his inheritance. He looks out at the wide city skyline, tightening his jaw as he feels the weight of their words. Broken paths, united hearts. Guy had to be in the countryside. He drove a sleek car through green hills and narrow dirt roads. Inside the car, he held the steering wheel tightly and felt more frustrated with every turn. The city skyline was far behind him, replaced by rustic homes and muddy paths that seemed to go on forever. When he finally stopped the car, he stepped out reluctantly, and his polished shoes sank into the dirt. He paused, annoyed, as he realized how different his tailored suit looked from the wild surroundings. This place made him feel uncomfortable and out of place. The sun sets low, filling the fields with a golden light. Bao stands in knee-deep water, moving gracefully and laughing. Meanwhile, Guy stumbles awkwardly through the mud, showing his frustration. Bao's bright smile highlights the difference between them, marking the start of their clash. Guy's farming attempts turn into a funny mess. He struggles with his tools, slipping and sliding in the mud while Bao watches nearby, trying not to laugh. When he tries to lift an overflowing basket, he drops it, spilling everything everywhere. Determined to keep going, he steps forward but trips on a rake and falls into a haystack. Mud flies everywhere, and each mistake adds to the chaos. The scene ends with a freeze frame. Guy lying in the dirt, covered in mud and looking defeated, while Bao stands above him, clapping sarcastically with a cheeky grin. Mei Ling steps out of a car, and her shiny red heel clicks on the gravel. She walks confidently, with her hair styled perfectly, making her look out of place in the village. Bao watches from a distance, frowning as Mei Ling leans in to greet Guy with a familiar kiss on the cheek. Her polished look disrupts the quiet calm of the fields. Li lifts heavy sacks of grain, using his strong muscles. In the distance, he hears Bao laughing in the fields, sounding light and carefree. He stops for a moment, looking at her, and tightens his grip on a small hand-carved charm. The deep feeling of his longing is clear in his eyes, even though he doesn't say anything. Lanterns sway gently in the breeze, casting a warm golden light over the busy village square. Guy clumsily dances a traditional dance, while Bao giggles beside him. The cheerful atmosphere changes when Mei Ling appears and whispers something to Guy, pulling him away. Bao's laughter stops, and her smile fades as she watches them. The moment focuses on her disappointed expression, lit softly by the lanterns. Footsteps crunch through leaves as Guy and Bao stroll deeper into the woods on their romantic day, their playful banter filling the air. The mood shifts suddenly when distant voices and the clang of metal interrupt the peace. They stumble upon a hidden camp, where bandits are loading timber into trucks under the cover of the trees. Guy's smile vanishes, replaced by wide-eyed alarm. He pulls Bao back into the shadows, their carefree moment shattered by the looming danger. One day, motorcycles roared into the village, breaking its calm and scattering chickens and children everywhere. Bandits stormed in, shouting for payment, creating chaos captured in shaky, handheld shots. In the midst of the turmoil, Bao stood firm, holding her younger sibling tightly. The shadow of the leader loomed over her, but she kept her determined gaze, even as the tension grew. In a dimly lit room, Mei Ling studies a map spread across a wooden table. Shadows partially cover her face. The flicker of a candle creates an eerie light that highlights her calculating smirk. She leans closer to a bandit and speaks in a low, sharp voice. "Make it messy. I'll handle the rest." The bandit nods, and a sense of unease fills the air as her plan starts to take shape. The tension stems from Li's protective feelings for Bao and his distrust of Guy. Li sees Guy as an outsider who doesn't truly understand Bao or the village, accusing him of selfishly toying with her future. He fears that Guy's presence will disrupt Bao's life and potentially take her away from the community she belongs to. Guy, defensive but unsure how to express his growing feelings, struggles to counter Li's accusations convincingly. Bao finds herself caught in the middle, torn between her deep connection to her home and her budding relationship with Guy, as she tries to calm the escalating confrontation. Guy sits alone by the fire, watching the flickering embers cast shadows on his face. He hears the quiet crackle of burning wood mixed with the muffled voices of nearby villagers, showing their strength and resilience. His eyes stay fixed on the glowing coals as he realizes the heavy burden of his privilege. The warmth of the fire does little to ease the chill in his thoughts. In the quiet light of a flickering oil lamp, Bao sews calmly, but her shaking hands show her worry. She tells her grandmother about her deep fear of losing their land. Tears run down her cheeks, reflecting the dim light as she struggles to speak, feeling overwhelmed by uncertainty in the room. Chaos breaks out when bandits set a village's home on fire. The flames roar and cast wild shadows in the night. Bao and Guy run toward the fire, moving frantically as smoke spreads and the firelight flickers. The air feels hot and smells of burning wood. The scene is filled with a mix of light, shadow, and urgent action. In the aftermath of the fire, under the glow of the moonlight, Guy stands before the gathered villagers, with ash smudging his face and clothing. His voice is steady yet filled with passion, rising above the faint crackle of dying embers. Each word he speaks carries the weight of his conviction, resonating through the cool night air and cutting through the heavy silence. Around him, the villagers exchange glances, their hesitant nods a fragile display of unity and hope. From the shadows, Bao watches quietly, her expression softening as she sees the fire of determination in his eyes, a resolve that mirrors her own. Rain falls heavily, soaking the night as Guy, Li, and a determined group of villagers get ready to ambush the bandits. The fight begins in a whirlwind of fists, mud, and strong will. Each movement is raw and basic. The rain has turned the ground into a slippery battlefield where every step and strike feels hard-earned. Even with the storm's fury, the villagers' determination shines through, and their unity becomes a powerful force against the raging elements. Tension fills the air as Mei Ling's betrayal is revealed to the group. She stands frozen, showing shock and guilt. Guy steps forward and speaks up. "We're done," he says, his voice strong and firm. His words linger in the air, hitting hard and making everyone, especially Mei Ling, feel the weight of her actions. The room is completely silent, and Bao feels the weight of defeat as she picks up the pen. Her hand shakes as she signs away her family's land, tears falling down her cheeks and soaking the paper. Each stroke feels like a betrayal of her ancestors. It's a sacrifice she never wanted to make but feels powerless to avoid. The ink is barely dry when the door slams open. Guy rushes in, his voice shattering the quiet. "No, not like this," he shouts, looking both angry and desperate. Emotions collide in the room as Bao stands frozen in shock and Guy steps forward, determined to stop what is about to happen. At dawn, the forest bursts into chaos as the villagers, armed with tools and their deep knowledge of the terrain, launch a calculated assault on the bandits. Hidden traps spring to life, trees serve as shields, and every shadow conceals a potential threat. Amid the turmoil, Guy and Bao fight side by side, their movements fluid and synchronized, each instinctively covering the other. Together, they embody the resilience of the villagers, their unity forming a striking contrast to the bandits' brute force. As the rising sun casts its golden light, they fight not just for survival but for hope. As the morning light shines through the trees, Li faces the bandit leader in a one-on-one fight. The battle is intense, with each move testing their skills. Li's accuracy and strong focus stand out. In a key moment, he disarms the leader, causing the weapon to fall to the ground. The forest goes silent as the villagers watch, their earlier doubts replaced by respect and admiration. Even Guy, who is catching his breath from the fight, looks at Li with new respect. This moment establishes Li as both a warrior and a leader in the eyes of the villagers. The villagers gather in the central square to cheer as Guy is named the new chief. The morning sun shines warmly on the scene, lighting up the faces of people filled with hope and excitement. While everyone celebrates, Bao stands slightly to the side. Her smile is quiet but shows her pride. She watches Guy with trust and admiration as the village begins a new chapter under his leadership. In the fading evening light, Li packs his belongings carefully. He moves deliberately but feels uncertain. Bao stands nearby, her eyes filled with unspoken thoughts. When the time comes, they step closer for a heartfelt goodbye. Their hands meet in a brief gesture that shows their gratitude, respect, and the bond they share. Finally, Li pulls away, looking at Bao one last time before he turns and walks away. He leaves behind a feeling of both closure and longing in the quiet village. Under the golden hues of a new dawn, the villagers work side by side, their determination weaving hope into every task. hammering nails into fresh beams, stacking stones for sturdy walls, and tilling the earth for new crops. Their unity breathes life into the scarred land. Guy and Bao move among them, leading by example, lifting, guiding, and inspiring. Between moments of labor, their eyes meet, sharing glances filled with unspoken affection, a quiet promise of trust and partnership as the village begins to rise from the ashes. Bao leans over the table, her pencil gliding across the paper as she sketches a vibrant vision of the future, a bustling community market where life can flourish once more. Her eyes sparkle with excitement, and her energy is almost contagious as she murmurs ideas to herself. Guy steps into the room, drawn by her focused determination. He approaches quietly, a smile forming on his face as he watches her work. "What's this?" he asks, his curiosity breaking her concentration. Bao looks up, a mix of pride and eagerness lighting up her face, and she slides the sketch toward him. They pore over the design together, exchanging ideas with growing momentum, their voices filled with hope as the foundation of a dream begins to take shape between them. Guy's parents visit the village after learning about his decision to become chief and help the community. At first, they worry about his break from the family's respected legacy and want to change his mind. However, as they see the strength of the villagers, Bao's strong leadership, and the unity that Guy has created, they change their views. They understand that his choice shows a deeper purpose, and they admire the life he is building. The visit marks a turning point, as they begin to accept his path and respect Bao and the village more. Mei Ling donates anonymously to the village to seek redemption. She feels guilty about her betrayal and the harm it caused. She wants to make things right but does not have the courage to face the villagers. By giving money, supplies, or tools, she hopes to ease their burden and help repair some of the damage she caused. Watching from a distance, she finds some comfort in the joy and relief her help brings, even though she knows that forgiveness may still be out of reach. The village is full of energy as everyone prepares for a wedding. Bright colors fill the scene as people wear traditional Hmong attire, with beautiful embroidery showing off their skills and culture. Women sit together, sewing and sharing stories with each stitch. Men build a floral arch in the village square, working with pride. Children run around with garlands and ornaments, their laughter floating in the air. The smell of delicious food fills the space, and elders gather to offer blessings, speaking with respect. Soft music from bamboo flutes plays in the background, and shiny silver ornaments sparkle in the sunlight. All these details come together to celebrate the couple and the traditions that connect the community. Guy and Bao stand in a beautifully decorated rice field under the open sky. The golden rice stalks sway gently in the breeze. Colorful hand-woven fabrics and fresh flowers frame the scene, glowing in the soft sunlight. Family and friends surround them, quietly watching as Guy and Bao exchange vows. Their words float on the wind, promising to the land and its people. This moment feels timeless. It unites not just two hearts, but also traditions and hope. Their loved ones watch on, joy shining in their eyes. In a quiet corner of the village, Guy and Bao kneel together to plant a young sapling in the soil. Sunlight shines through the leaves above, creating patterns on their faces as they work side by side. After patting the earth around the tree, they share a look of determination. The sapling represents their commitment to each other and to the land. When they stand up, the view opens up, showing the busy village around them, rebuilt homes, lush fields, and villagers going about their daily lives, all showing their strength and unity. As the sun sets, Guy and Bao stand on a hill and look over the village. The warm golden light outlines their figures. They hold hands and watch the lively scene below, where smoke rises from chimneys and villagers work in their busy community. The gentle breeze rustles the grass, adding to the peaceful moment. With the wide sky around them, they symbolize hope, love, and a better future.